Hello, greetings. I'm Sifu Matt Lovio here I'm to teach you the Chinese martial art known as Qinna, which is the ancient Chinese art of grappling. Sometimes affectionately referred to as the grabbing style of Kung Fu, or also Kung Fu grappling, whatever you wish to term and call it. What you have just seen me done and perform are what is known in the martial arts as breakfall techniques. In the Chinese martial arts of Shuaijiao, or in this case Qinna, they are commonly affectionately referred to, if you will, as Dee-Ay or Dee-Ay falling methods, or in slang layman terms, to make life easier, we will just refer to it as breakfall techniques. What are breakfall techniques? Breakfall techniques are techniques utilized within many different wrestling, or in this case, grappling arts from the four corners of the globe. They were first devised and utilized by many different wrestling and grappling arts throughout the world to ensure the safety of its practitioners, so that each wrestler or grappler would still be able to practice the art and be able to learn how to fall safely so they can continue to train. After all, it wouldn't make sense that thousands of years ago they would come up with these elaborate, if not powerful and potent throwing techniques. One practitioner would throw the edge to the ground, he or she would get severely hurt, and they would have to take time to heal so they can start practicing the art again and do it all over again. Wouldn't make sense. So they had to come up with a way, these different cultures, to devise these methods of falling down safely as best as possible. Now mind you, as best as possible is the key note. After all, you are taking someone and when you throw them to the ground, they're falling to what? To the ground. Ground's pretty hard. I don't care whether it's dirt or grass, let alone like especially a hard concrete sidewalk or asphalt on the street. It's going to hurt. Knock the wind out of you. So therefore, these techniques are the best way to help prevent injury as much as possible, but they are, sadly, unfortunately, I would be lying through my teeth if I would say to you, they are 100% bona fide safe, that you could be guaranteed to never be hurt. But the chances are, at least 80 to 90% of the time, they are safe. That's a hell of a lot better than 0%. These techniques I will be showing you and presenting to you today are the best ways possible I can help hopefully a potential Qinna practitioner or any martial artist in general, where you will learn how to fall down as safely and as best as possible. Now, I'm going to first break it down to you very quickly. Hopefully, don't worry, I'll try not to prattle on and do it too much. But you'll notice that with a lot of my talk and throughout these future videos that I'll be doing on behalf of the art of Qinna, talking be just as instructive, if not more so, than just going through the actions and motions itself. We have to first come up with, if you will, the training area. As you can see here, I'm very lucky, unfortunately here, I'm in a grassy area where I have a lot of space, a lot of wide space. There's no furniture around, there's no obstructions around, especially when it comes to also for safety measures. The second thing you want to make sure is that there's no one else is around. Try to make sure, unless it's your training partner, try to train as best as possible by yourself or alone, in conjunction with your training partner, or better yet, training partners. Training in a group is always best, especially when it comes to safety. If anything were to bad to happen to you, someone can call up on their smartphone and call like a local ambulance or paramedics. If, heaven forbid, if anything bad were to happen to you or one of your fellow partners. Also, another thing too, when it comes to the training area for a clear, wide area so you can be safe enough to fall down, you also want to make sure that there is no certain type of people around, especially young little children, and also above all, pet animals. I have a pet cat, which is why I make sure whenever I train, I try to make sure that she is far away and not around where I can accidentally step on her, or worse, in this case with falls, fall on top of her. You want to make sure there's no children or no little pets that you may have for a more conducive and safer training session and period. Last thing too, most important of all, I cannot stress this enough. If you'll notice, I'm training on a nice, safe training mats. I've just got about 3. I have more, mind you, but these ones are one of my particular favorites because they are broken up. They are not connected together. In case you haven't noticed in the video, they are separate. They are all separate to different pieces. Now, there are some that are all interconnected, if you will, connected together where they fold. Those are the best ones, the gymnastics type of mats. Those are far more thicker and more cushy, have more cushy type of feel. Those ones I recommend if you especially you can afford. Sadly, unfortunately, they're usually not cheap. They can range anywhere. It's a $50, $75, $100, $200 and so forth. If you wish to have a safe type of training environment and also for better training periods, please go out, get them, buy them, bring them home and train with them. You're thinking I don't have the money? Well, guess what? I didn't have the money for these two, which why it took me some time. I saved and saved, and guess what? I got them. Within time, I was able to get each piece by piece by piece to ensure that I was have a more guaranteed and safer training type of session. And by doing so, it will. I promise you, and guarantee. I don't just guarantee you. I promise you, your training will triple, over not just double, but triple overnight. Because why? You have the proper safety training equipment to do this with. I've heard horror stories. Thankfully, I've never run into these such individuals, but I've heard horror stories of people who practice numerous different type of grappling arts. Russian Sambo, Japanese Judo, Jiu-Jitsu, Aikido, if you will, like other wrestling arts such as Greco-Roman wrestling, freestyle wrestling, and so on and so forth, of all the different wrestling arts throughout the four corners of the globe. And I've heard some individuals who have foolishly and recklessly tried to use different types of falling apparatus for their safety. I've heard them use bed mattresses. Not just the kind with the springs, but even the kind without the springs that they think they can just fall down flat on. Beds are, last I checked, are meant to be slept on, and they were never meant to have hard falling objects fall directly on top of them. Because guess what will happen? It'll give way. It may seem like it's safe and cushy. I guarantee you, it is not. It is a very foolish thing to do. You will get hurt, or worse, someone else you're training with will get hurt. The second thing, another type of training apparatus you don't ever want to utilize, and I cannot stress this enough: trampolines. Trampolines are great fun. Kids from all walks of life love trampolines. I don't blame them. They're a lot of fun. Jumping on them over and over and over again, do all kinds of tricks. Some people have been known to do flips and somersaults and so forth, etc. That's great because they were designed for that. They were not designed to fall on. Now, some people, you're probably arguing and saying, well, Sifu, I've seen people all the time, they fall on it too when they try to do a certain jump. Yeah, they fall on it by accidentally, but then they try to get back on their feet. They don't try to fall down purposefully, because why? Trampolines are like, usually, last I checked, they have like certain types of struts, and those struts are connected to what? A metal frame. You have no control once you fall down. You may your neck, your chest, your back, your head may fall on that metal frame. You're going to get hurt, severely hurt, and it's a one-way trip to the emergency room. Those are the two types of training equipment you avoid, because they're not training equipment. They were not meant to be utilized in that manner. Therefore, you get a training mat. Try to find like an area, like if you will, if perhaps like you live in an apartment, and unfortunately I would not recommend practicing your break falls within your apartment. Even if you live on the ground floor, let alone an upper floor, because your neighbors from either floor, they may tend to disagree with you, like thudding and finding out what in the heck is going on. Is someone getting hurt or getting killed? You don't want the embarrassment of that, the local authorities paying you a visit. Therefore, I recommend if you live in an apartment, try to practice like if you will, like if they have any grassy part of the apartment. If they don't have it there, you may not feel comfortable practicing it right there near the street in front of everyone. Do what I do. Go to a local park. Go to a local park and set up and bring up your mats. Train there. Hopefully, there won't be any park officials. If they don't disagree with you in training, try there. There's always a place to try to train if you make the effort for it. Now, instead of me here just talking and prattling away, I've given you the safety provisions and other such protocols, and also of how to properly train. So let's get down to it. Let's actually, instead of me just yakking away, let's get down to the training method for these different break falls. I will try to present to you, maybe 4, 5, maybe 6 break falls if I can. Please note, as I show you, only there's maybe like 4, 5, or 6 break falls I'll be showing you in this video today. Please do not expect or intend to learn them all in one day. You take each break fall and you work on them day after day, week after week, as I did. They do not come overnight. They will not come overnight. They shouldn't come overnight. It takes time. Practice each and every one, just as you would any type of like punch or any powerful type of kick or any other technique in the martial arts. Because it takes time, and I cannot say this enough. Perseverance, patience, and preparedness. These are the keys to any martial art, let alone for any endeavor in life for that matter. In this case, especially for breakfall techniques. We're going to break it down, and then later on I'll show you there's actually different levels or stages, which is another reason why you cannot learn this overnight in just one day, or will not in one day. Let's start, if you will, with the back fall. Now, if you'll notice, I'm going to be starting off, if you will, in a lower base level. You saw earlier in the video, I was doing it more like, if you will, of an experienced manner, an advanced type of manner. And that one, ironically enough, tends to come easy. Of course, mind you, I've been practicing this art as well as some other grappling arts for many, many years now. So therefore, it's come easy to me within time and effort. But of course, in the end, in a way, although it's somewhat a little bit more easy, it's not totally easy. There's always room for improvement. Never get too reckless, all right, or a swelled head. There's always room for improvement and to learn more. Let's start with a back fall. I'm going to start, if you will, at a lower base. Now, I first learned to keep my knees closer together, but I learned by keeping my knees farther apart and my back straight, never bent like this, back straight, and my arms out like this. I found it to be a little bit more conducive and a little bit more easier. If you don't feel comfortable like with your legs spreading out like this, then go like this and make a table, if you will, like a lap, if you will, with your knees like that. I tend to find it was much more easier to do it in this manner. Please note, as I go further showing these breakfall techniques, these techniques are not necessarily completely indigenous to Chin-Na. There are some different breakfall methods I learned from the various different grappling arts that I practiced throughout my life. Chinese Shuai Jiao, Japanese Jiu-Jitsu, and so on and so forth, or in this case also Chinese Chin-Na. There's many different bowling techniques that you'll learn from any different martial art, and so forth. But for now, I'll be showing you which I feel is the best methods for Chin-Na breakball techniques. Again, you can use the table method, keeping your knees together, like such as this. I feel it's more comfortable to keep your knees out a little bit more, arm out like this. And what I do, if you notice the key point to all breakfalls, you will notice I never, ever drop. I lower. Now there's some points where it may look like I'm dropping down, and sometimes you may have to. But if you can, lower. Don't ever drop. Lower. Here we go. Take a breath. Back straight. Never slouched. Back straight. Head up. And I'm just gonna lower and fall back. Did you see what I did? I lowered. Didn't drop. I lowered myself. Let's do that again. If you want, you can also take your hands, make like a triangle. Make a triangle and put it there like that to help even get better balance. But again, don't slouch. Back is always straight. Keep a straight back. If you want, you could do this and then fall back and lower and fall. It may seem like it's easy, but there's a little bit of intricacy if you look at it. The key point, I'm going to say this again and again and again over. I'm going to talk your ears over it because I want to make sure I drill it into your head. Lower. Don't drop. Lower yourself. That guarantees efficiency, if not safety. Sometimes within the effort and time, you will find that instead of doing this knees together, this table like this, and the back straight, you'll tend to get yourself a little bit higher and higher and stand up more. In this case, we're going to take baby steps. You'll hear me use that cute little term over and over again. Baby steps. There's nothing wrong or shameful about it. Back straight, arms out. And one last thing before I note, if you notice when I fall, different grappling arts, say for example, either Japanese judo or jiu-jitsu as I studied. I never studied judo. I studied Japanese Nihon jiu-jitsu. And Nihon jiu-jitsu with the ukomi-waza, which is the Japanese word for breakball techniques. We were taught to do this with our legs and go like this. Did you see what I did? My legs were together like that to pull back and then go forward. I learned from different grappling arts, Chinese Shuai Jiao, or in this case also Chinese Chin-Na. I was taught a different way where you'll notice my legs are never straightened. They're not totally completely elongated. If you'll notice, the techniques are, so to speak, bent and kind of bent a little. Please note.